Hey everyone, welcome into Sideline Stories. I am your host, Ryan Wooley, and I am joined today by a very special guest. That is the head football coach of Seaholm High School. That is Jim DeWald. Jim, thank you for the time.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You know, we have an opportunity to talk to you before the season really gets going. I want to talk about your team this year, kind of glance back at what you did last year, but the point of Sideline Stories is also to talk to players, coaches, athletic directors, and get to know you as a man, as a human, as somebody that works in athletics, that is just above and beyond the athletic field. And so I kind of want to start there. Here at Seaholm High School, you've been here for a while, so tell us, how long have you been here?
This is my 14th season, so it seems like we've been here for a long, long time, but it's been fun.
And then prior to coming to Seaholm, where were you here?
I was at Andover High School for 3 years. Before that, I took a little break from teaching and coaching for a couple years, and before that I was at Pontiac Northern. So all in, I think this is my 21st year as a head coach, and before that I was assistant for 2 years, and I was a grad assistant at Western Michigan University.
21 years is a long time to do what you love, right?
Yes.
But you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life.
Right, that is true.
That's the way it works. But all right, so kind of talk to us. I mean, 14 years here, it takes some time to build a culture, but you look around, even this beautiful facility we're sitting in, you said this is now the third year that you've had this. You've built the culture here. I mean, how proud are you of that?
Well, I'm proud of our kids. I'm proud of it. We have a great community. I live in the community. My wife went to Seaholm. My kids went to Seaholm, so I love the community. So we have good support from the families. I get, the grocery store. You see parents and you see students a lot, so I enjoy that. But I think you're right. It takes a long time to build that culture. We've been here 14 years, as we said. I think it's probably the last 8 or 9 years that we really established our identity and who we want to be and how we want our football program to look, and I think I'm very proud of that. Every day, I don't take that for granted because it takes a long time to build that.
And certainly, gain the trust of those in the community, those that play for you. But when somebody says Seaholm football, what do you want them to know about the Maples?
Well, if you ask any football player, any coach, they would say just be a dude. That's kind of our motto or our standpoint. It's just doing the right things, do your best, do for others, and do what's right. So.
All right, well, let's take a look back to last year. Of course, I know you guys have moved on, new season's coming up. Last year, if you could describe it in a couple words. I mean, you guys started 6-0, you ended up finishing 7-4. So if you could summarize last year for maybe those that didn't follow you last season, what would you say?
Overachieving. That team really overachieved. The year before, we had a really good year the year before. We had a lot of 3-year starters, and I thought we were going to go pretty far, and we ended up losing to Waterford. They had a phenomenal quarterback, and they beat us. We had to replace everybody, and when a coach has to replace everyone, you just don't know what you have. And last year, I was shocked that we went 6-0. Then we played some tougher teams, and towards the end of the year, didn't shape up the way we wanted it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. So heading into the North Farmington game, that was a game that the ending a lot of people were wondering about, right? So I mean that was a game you guys gambled on, not to bring up old wounds, but you guys went for the win and not for the tie.
Yes.
What did that tell you about your team? What did it tell you about as a coach, and how the community supported you, maybe with the decision, because it didn't work out like you would hope it would?
Well, it's as we explain it to our kids and everyone I talk to, it's that play didn't work, but why were we in that position at the end of the fourth quarter? What happened in the first quarter? What happened in the second quarter? So obviously, when those plays happen in the game, it gets magnified. That particular play was what we call slugger, and it was averaging, I think, 4 or 5 yards a play, and we got them to jump off sides early on, and so we had 1.5 yards to go, and I liked our chances, and North Farmington got us. And
North Farmington and Farmington, right? They will not be in your division as of starting next year. Yep. They'll still be here this year. You mentioned Mott; they'll be coming in. And Kettering, right? They'll be the other team. Yep. So how does that kind of change the dynamic? I know you're not even thinking about that right now, but like going into next year, how does that change the dynamics of 2 different teams leaving and 2 coming in?
The OA has come full circle. When I first started coaching it, the Waterford schools were in our league, and then they left, and the Farmingtons came in, and so now the Farmingtons are leaving, they're coming back. So next thing you know, Clausen and Hazel Park will be back before you know it. So I don't know. I don't know much about the Waterford teams. Like I said, we played them 1 year or 2 years ago. We don't play them a ton. Don't know much about them. Both North Farmington and Farmington are really well coached teams. They have great kids, great players. It's fun to play them. It's always a good game with those guys. It's always a battle, and that's what you want. You want these games where they're close at the end. You don't want teams that you're blowing out or you're getting blown out. You want good competitive games each week, and North Farmington provides that for us.
Jim DeWald, the head football coach here at Seaholm, joining us here on Sideline Stories as we count you down to kickoff. Hard to believe the high school football season is actually getting set. August 28th, you guys square off with Troy Athens. So let's kind of talk about your team this year. You mentioned you had a lot to replace last year. If I saw it right, you had 18 starters that you had replaced last year. Does that sound accurate?
Yep.
And then now coming into this year, kind of walk us through where you're at offensively. We'll start on the offensive side. We'll go to the defensive side. How many returning starters do you have?
Same. Our quarterback's coming back, which is always a help in our system. We run a veer system, so it takes a lot of training to get those quarterbacks ready for varsity season. We have our right guard it had a couple starts last year in Brendan Corbett. Our center is back. Max Kruger was a full-time starter last year. Both our A-backs or slot backs, the guys that are in motion. Those guys both had a lot of experience from last year. That's Casey Getz and Conrad Swanson. But other than that, everyone's brand new. So we have to replace a lot again, but I think we do the same thing over and over and over again. So by the time they get ready for varsity, they're ready to go.
And you were talking about that even off camera. You're talking about even in the film room. So I mean, you guys have a routine that you guys stick to, so that repetition is really big around here.
Repetition's the mother of all skill. You'll hear me say that a lot. Repetition's the mother of all skill. Just keep doing the same things over, and consistency. And I think that, along with, you talked about the culture, we're trying to just go baby steps forward every little day. It's not extravagant. It's not going to make highlights, but consistency moving forward makes for a better program.
It's the building blocks to success, and that's really what you need. The one thing I like to talk to coaches all the time about is team bonding. So you and I were talking about my time in the marching band and how I enjoyed my time there, and then now we're in the broadcasting field and we work as a team to bring productions. But bonding is big, especially in athletics. And I don't know if you want to share, if you can share some of the things you do, but team bonding, what are some things that you guys do as a football team, maybe in the summer workouts, heading into the season, and even during the season?
Yeah, I think the biggest one we do is when we first start camp. We have some kind of milestones that we go throughout the year, whether it's Week of Champions in the spring, it's Man Makers in the summertime, it's Beer Camp in the summertime. But the big one that for bonding is when we start camp. When we start in August, we've, as I said, this is my 21st year as a head coach. 19 of those years we've gone away. There's no cell phones, there's no electronic, there's no anything other than just human connection. We're gone for basically 4 days and 3 nights, and the kids have no choice but to communicate with each other, talk to each other, get to know each other. So at night they're playing cornhole, they're playing cards. There's nothing to do. There's no music, there's no TVs, there's nothing that connects you to the outside world, and I think that's a special time for us. And this year, unfortunately, we were unable to go away, so we did it right here at the school. We stayed upstairs in the gym, put the cots out, and I slept on the office floor downstairs, and we eliminated all outside noise, and it worked out well.
Cell phones certainly can be a distraction in the classroom, in life, even as adults, right?
Yes.
We get distracted by our cell phones. You're a teacher, right? So, I mean, what do you teach here at Seaholm?
I'm a phys ed teacher.
Phys ed. So, I mean, phones are typically put away most of the time in gym class, but do you feel that that's distracted kids enough in school that maybe, not to put you on the spot, but maybe a policy that there should be a no phone policy in schools?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the phone at all in the classroom. I know some teachers like kids that have access to information right away in their classes. That's to each their own. And there's no room for it in my class in a gym floor. So there's no cell phones in my class. Period. It's good and bad, right? There's some good things about a cell phone, but there's a lot of bad things about that thing.
Yeah, it's distracting. I mean, it gets us as adults too. So even when we're telling kids put them away, sometimes we need that reminder too.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the no cell phones here, like when I have my cell phone when the kids are here, when we're away for a camp, our bonding time. I don't pick mine up until like 11 o'clock that night, every night. So I don't let the kids see me with the phone either. So I think the coaches connect as well.
Yep. I noticed one of the things you talked about here in the off season, and I want to make sure I get his name right, Matt Myers, SEAL Team 6. He was part of the Osama bin Laden raid. I saw this with a previous interview you had done. Can you just kind of talk about that? How did that came to be, and how you brought this guy in to talk to your team?
Yeah. So he was here in the springtime, this last spring, and he does corporate speaking, and he was with a big bank in downtown Birmingham, and he reached out to us and said, I'd love to speak to your student athletes. And he did. He did a great job in the springtime with all of our student athletes. And then he and I talked over the summer, and he said, I'd love to work with you guys. And we worked it out where he was able to come to start our camp. So he came in that Sunday, the August 10th, from noon to about 8:30 at night with only about a 45-minute break. He trained our kids not only physically but mentally, and it was really good stuff. It was things that, the details matter, and really teaching kids how to figure things out. Because when you're on a game field, as a coach, I can't be sitting next to you, during the play and say, hey, that's a 3 technique, you need to step with your outside foot. You need to figure that out. And he pushed that message to our kids, and our kids bought into it a lot. And they came back the next day at 6 a.m. and they did the whole bed check thing, and kids got, what's the word, punished for not having a clean made bed. Yeah. So it was awesome. He was, I hope we can continue a great relationship with him, but his resume is so impressive, and what he did with our kids is, it was awesome.
I mean, even just being in the same room as him, I mean, that had to be cool, not only for the kids, but for you guys as adults and the coaching staff.
Yeah, and if you just do the little background check of who he is and what it means to be a SEAL Team 6 guy, I mean, the discipline and the dedication and the perseverance just to be on that team, I don't know if it's a special human being.
Well, and not that he's not on the same level as Matt Myers, but I was also told with your kicker, you brought in a former Detroit Lions kicker to work with him.
You tell us all that information.
Yeah, that's right.
So unfortunately, so we have a senior kicker, Nolan McKevitt, who looks like he's torn his labrum in his hip, so he may be out for a good portion of the season, if not the whole thing. And we just found this out last week, and we've been scrambling trying to get another kicker. This name was brought to me. I had Noah come out and kicked it a couple times. You can tell he has the power, but just some technique things. Don Molback is a friend of mine. I was a long snapper for the Lions forever and ever and ever, and I just kind of reached out to him going, is there any chance that someone can come out here and give this kid a couple pointers? And 10 minutes later, he sent me Hanson's number, and he said, he's expecting your phone call. And I text Jason, and he couldn't have been more polite and nice. He goes, I'm doing some things, but I can be there Sunday at 4 o'clock. And he worked with our kicker for about 45 minutes and gave him some good pointers that he can work on his own at practice. So I'm very appreciative to Jason and Don for hooking us up.
It's cool when athletes can get back
Yes.
to high schools. And I had a chance to interview Jason many times over my career. He was one of the nicest Detroit Lion players ever. And so
he's a really good guy. I'm trying to get him on the golf course.
There you go. Well, just a couple more questions for you, Coach. Then at the end of this, I want to have some fun with you. I want to do a this or that to kind of really get to know you again as a man. But looking at your schedule, you talked about offense, defensively. Just kind of talk a little bit about your defense. We'll talk about your schedule in a minute. What should we look at some players to watch on defense?
Same thing. We have to replace a lot. Max Kruger played for the defensive line for us. He was the center on the one side of the ball. Rocco Colpa was a starting corner for us last year. We're going to move him to safety, and really everyone else we're replacing. And once again, Spencer Adams is our defensive coordinator. He runs a really good system that it's simple, and we can repeat it over and over and over. So the time the kids are ready to go as a senior or a junior on varsity, they've had enough repetitions, they can kind of slide into those positions. So we have a lot of unknowns, and the biggest unknown is live tackling in a game. Right. We tend not to do a lot of live tackling in practice. We do tackle drills. We do things. If we're going to the ground, it's very methodical. So that's always the scary one. Is the first game? Can we tackle in space?
Well, let's talk about the first game, because you look at your schedule. I hate to say favorable, but you have 6 home games this year, which is kind of unheard of in high school football. Typically with home games, you'll have theme nights, and you guys can check out all the social channels if you want to know what the theme nights are. Sometimes you guys will do Pink Out the Game, or maybe it's country night or whatever. So make sure you look at all the social channels for Seaholm. But 6 home games, what does that mean to you? I know you're going on the road for 3, but the first one gets out of the way early, which is Troy Athens, and all of a sudden you only have 2 road games the rest of the way. So how does that feel as a coach?
I love it. No one likes to go on the road. I don't care if you're in high school or professional. Everyone likes to play at home. This is a special place. I believe it. We have our football field. There's no track around it, so it's very condensed. Everything's right on top of you. Our facilities are top of the line. Our athletic director, Aaron Frank, does a great job with just music and lighting shows. And this year we have a flag that's going to go across the whole field for the national anthem. Our maple forests, they have a theme, as you talk about, each week, and they have the leaders do great chants, to try to keep it positive and not negative to the opposing team. It's fun. I think the entertainment value alone is really, really good. Between videos on the board, halftime things, between quarters, timeouts, before kickoffs, there's always something going on here, and it's really, really cool. And so both my boys played college football for a little bit, and I'd travel around and watch them. If I'd go to like a big game or Penn State, I'd go, oh, at this timeout they do this. So I would bring it back to Aaron, and I would say, hey, Penn State does this, or Michigan State did this at the first time out. So he's taken that, and now it's just it's awesome. It's a great atmosphere to be here.
What are your boys' names?
James and Caden. They both played here for us, and it was awesome.
And where did they play in college?
So one went to Western Michigan, one went to Central Michigan. I don't know how that is possible.
I'm an Eastern guy, so you got the other two directional schools.
My wife and I went to Western, so the one at Central, God knows what was in his head.
Oh, well, that's great. Hey, you know what? But to have, that had to be an honor for you being a football coach.
Yeah.
And then did you, I assume, coach them in the Pee Wee levels, little levels?
I did not. I'm pretty hands off with that stuff. When they were through baseball and lacrosse and Little League football, I'm just kind of a proud parent to sit up there and watch. I'm definitely not the crazy parent up there yelling at the kid.
Yeah, no, I've seen that myself,
Yes.
and I'll tell you, like, my son plays basketball. I've had the opportunity to coach him the last couple of years, and that's just been fun for me. But
Yeah.
I think if he got to that level, like, yeah, you just sit back and let the coaches kind of take over.
Yeah.
Jim DeWald joining us, the head coach of Seaholm football here, and coach, just a couple more minutes with you. Talking about Troy Athens, just looking at them, expectations for your team, expectations for that game. What do you want to see? I mean, week one is one of those. Again, you don't know about live tackling. Yeah, you kind of know where some of your players are going to fit in, of course, the ones that were here last year, but you're trying to reload the spots that are empty. So what do you want to see out of your team other than a victory on Thursday?
So we want to play fast, we want to play physical. I think every coach says that, and we want to try to execute for 4 quarters. I know it's so coach speak, but that's the only thing we can control. We can't control, a referee bad call or something that goes the other way, or the ball bounces kind of goofy on a kickoff. We just can't control those things. So I want our kids to play confident. I want them to play fast. I want to play physical, and then from there we can coach them up off the field. From there, we have a big challenge. Troy Athens, they're changing their entire offense, so we don't know what to expect. We have an idea of what they're going to be, but there's just a little scrimmage. It doesn't give you a lot of detail as far as down and distance and field position stuff. So, other teams, when you play them the first week, you can go off past history of what they kind of do on certain D&D situations, but this one's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to have to jab our way through this one and figure it out on the run.
And I know it's a long time away, but of course everyone looks at that last game of the year in Groves, October 24th. We know what Groves did last year in the run they had, going 12-1, losing that final game. But how do you keep your team focused on a week-to-week basis? And again, talking coach speak or cliche, like the kids know, like they know it's at the end of the year and they want that game. But how do you just, 1 week at a time to build up for that game?
Yeah, I think it's the consistent message of what we do every single day. So the kids know when we control ourselves. So most of the time we're in here watching film, it's of us practicing. We do show them opponent scout film, but most of the time it's us at practice. Where can we improve? How can we do this better? Or this was really good. Let's try to emphasize this and do this more often. So we really focus on ourselves, and I know it's coach speak, but it's really the truth. I mean, early on, like on Monday nights, they'll see some film of our opponent, and then from there, it's always going to be practice film where we can do better. And then we ask them we'll send them clips of like, okay, now look at Troy Athens, these formations, and maybe 10 clips. Please look at this and notice your key. We do things of that nature, but other than that, it's watching our practice film, improving ourselves. And I think that really humbles kids to focus on just doing their job at hand and not worry about things down the road. And then when that game comes, there's no need to hype it up. Those kids both sides are ready to go. Yeah.
Well, you guys have had a lot of success. 3 straight Blue Division titles? Is that at least a share of, in at least all 3 of those? You had 1, 2 outright and the share yesterday. So you've set that level of success, and now you're just looking to take that next step forward.
Yes,
right?
we are.
Well, I appreciate the time. So really quick, before we get you out of here, I came up with a list of questions that I want to ask him.
Okay.
I do this with a lot of coaches, really just to kind of get to know you better and let the audience kind of see where you're at. This is kind of a this or that, or maybe a word or two answer, and see where we can go.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
All right, so summer or fall?
Fall.
And why fall?
Boys of fall.
Okay, absolutely. Beach vacation or concrete jungle?
Beach vacation, Florida.
I'm with you on that. Drink of choice, Pepsi or Coke?
Water.
Okay, that's a coach answer right there. Hydration is what he wants. Pre-game ritual.
Ooh, that's a good one. I actually, right before school's, about 5 minutes before school's out, I put my pants on and my polo on, and I just kind of, my mind changes from teacher to coach, and that's kind of, and I kind of start thinking, what am I going to tell the kids before the game goes on?
Is there a music that you like to listen to before a game, or is it just kind of sit in silence?
I'm not a big music. You probably got to listen. I'm working out, but it would be it'd be the country or old school rap.
Okay. Yeah. Chicken or steak?
Steak.
Yes.
Had it last night.
Oh, good.
Yes.
All right, well then, how do you order it?
Medium rare.
Yeah, see, this is my guy right here. You got to get medium rare. And all right, so then the last question, at least on the steak side, is if you go to a steakhouse with a guest, let's just say myself or a camera guy over here, Steve, and they order chicken, do you ask them to leave?
Ooh, I don't know if I've ever ordered chicken at a restaurant, other than like a chicken taco or a chicken wrap. I don't know if I've ever had, unless you go to the Zenders up north. But if I went to who orders a piece of chicken at a steak restaurant?
I've been with a couple people, and I just look at them weird. I'm like, we came to a steakhouse for a reason. Why are you getting chicken?
Yeah, but, that's very weird.
All right, well, that's good to know. Biggest pet peeve that you have?
Tardiness.
Love it. I mean, that's a teacher and a coach talking right there. My teacher in high school, my band teacher, said to be early is to be on time is to be late, and that stuck with me ever since I was young. This is a hard one, probably for you to answer, but your biggest flaw?
Ooh, my biggest flaw. There's so many of them.
One that might stick out, like, I mean, and I bring that up because sometimes someone will say I'm too honest, or I take things too personally.
My biggest flaw is my communication via email.
Okay.
I'm really poor at email. I feel like I get so much email. I just like, you know what? Half it doesn't apply to me, and I miss emails all the time.
You're not just saying that because I emailed you, are you?
No, that's very typical. The days I go back and try to clean things out, and I'll see in the email it's actually addressed to me. I'm like, oh, I never responded. So,
but you're great at texting and calling. So
texting is the way to go.
Absolutely.
I think it's the best form of communication. It can be very what's the word I'm looking for? Not official, or it's just super simple. You don't have to say, hey, how you doing? Just like, hey, see you there. Gotcha.
The downside is sometimes you read your phone and you're like, I'll get to it later, and then you forget the text back until like 3 days later. Favorite thing you like to do in your downtime?
Golf, by far.
Okay. Do you have a handicap?
I do.
You care to share it or no?
I'm in the 10s.
Okay.
I think I'm at 10, as we speak, 10-9. I was down to a 10-2.
All right.
I play too much for it to be double digits.
Okay.
It should be below 10.
Well, it'll get there, right?
Yeah.
Just keep working at it. Repetition. Back to repetition.
Repetition, yep, and putting.
Favorite professional team?
Gotta love the Lions. I grew up in California, so the Rams were my world. I loved the Rams, and when they moved, I disowned them from everything. But
the first time or the second time? LA to St. Louis or
no,
St. Louis?
the first time.
Okay.
The first time. Now that they're back in LA, it's awesome. But the Lions. I'm gonna say the Lions.
All right. What about college team?
Western Michigan.
Okay.
There's only one college team.
Go Broncos, right? All right. Last thing. Best thing about being a coach?
Relationship with the kids. It keeps you young. There was a TV show on last night. My son was, it was like a game show, I don't know, it was on the background. And it was talking about slang terms or whatever. And my son goes, you should know all these because you're with the kids. And I looked and I actually got it right. Okay. Kids keep you smiling, they keep you laughing, they keep you on your toes, and they keep you young, even though I have gray balding hair. But it's fun to be around them. And the relationships are awesome. And when they come back, it's like, it's heartwarming. It's indescribable when they come back and help out. So it's cool.
Well, perfect. Well, Jim, I appreciate the time. I really do. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
And we'll hopefully be talking the rest of the year.
Sounds good.
Once again, that's Jim DeWald, the head football coach here at Seaholm on Sideline Stories. If you have an idea that you want to do for Sideline Stories, make sure you reach out to us here at BCTV. But good luck at Troy Athens. We'll be talking soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.